Hello, hello. I believe we are live. Steve Sipress here. It is Direct Mail Monday, April 29th, 2019. Steve Sipress here. And I'm dedicating today's episode to my father-in-law who passed away this morning after a long bout with cancer and other complications. My father-in-law, Jerry Fabry, a lifelong successful entrepreneur, owner of multiple businesses, a fantastic employer and servant to his clients and customers, and made sure everybody benefited from his business, his suppliers, his customers, paid all the bills, paid the rent, served everybody. Everybody loved him. Everybody fantastic. Everything a great entrepreneur is all about. Alex is here. Ace is here. Great seeing you. And so this episode is dedicated to you, Jerry Fabry. So I'm going to keep it kind of short, though, if you don't mind. So I picked one piece that I received in the past week or two to illustrate the headline I put. I don't know who first said it, but I don't think they said it about direct mail. But if you're not loving it, getting great results, you're just not doing it right. It's just like sex, right? So I don't want to hear direct mail doesn't work or nobody uses direct mail anymore or any of that BS. It's the same with every single way that you're going to use to do marketing or advertising or sales. Phone calls. Oh, I had this comment on social media last week from somebody. Oh, the smartphone killed phone calls. Nobody calls anymore. Everybody. I'm like, first of all, today I'm on the phone all day long. So I talked to several clients today, a whole bunch of family members, and also I volunteered to take the responsibility from the rest of the family that I would take care of all the arrangements that have to be made here. And wow, what did I get myself into? There's quite a number of arrangements, further complicated by the fact that he died here in Arizona, but his funeral and burial and family and all that is back up in Wisconsin. So we got to have the body picked up by one funeral home and prepared and then shipped and then received, and then the church and then the funeral home and the service and the burial plot. And they don't have a burial plot. We got to pick one out, and we got to pick out the this and the that and whatever. And I'm talking to lawyers because he also had a business with 8 locations that I'm going to be taking over to generate some cash flow. Otherwise, what's going to happen to my mother-in-law? And so that business is generating cash and benefits for the company, like small businesses do. So it's not in position to sell right now, so I got to look into taking it over, which means when we fly up there later this week in a few days, likely for funeral and all that, I'll also be, who knows, driving around to how many of these 8 locations and meeting the employees and some clients and just seeing the lay of the land. I've never been in any of them. I haven't seen all the, been getting to the accountant. I've got the year-end statements here and the financials and the this and the that. We have pages of everything, and all kinds of talking to attorneys about all that kind of stuff. And I'll be meeting with one of the attorneys, set an appointment. I'll be meeting with him later this week. Just all kinds of craziness. So I'm going to keep it short here. Let's get to this one piece. So, oh yeah, about the phone. So don't give me this crap that like no one uses the phone anymore. If you don't set it up, if you allow people, people text me, and most of the time the response is two words: call me. Oh, how do I text them all back and type it? You just say call me. You got your phone in your hand. I got my phone in my hand. Call me. Let's go. So how do you control your communications in your business? Well, do you use direct mail? I don't want to hear the excuse that it doesn't work, or crickets, I mailed out 100 pieces or whatever and nobody called. Like, well, the first question is, do you think anybody cared about your direct mail piece just because you invested the money and the time and the effort? And if you're smart, you paid someone to write the piece that's on the inside. But if that person is more than just a copywriter, they'll also help you with a little consulting. Unless you're really smart, you call me. They'll help you with how to, the first thing before you're going to get any responses, to get the thing opened and read. So I talk about it a lot, but the first rule, the first job of your direct mail is to get the attention of the recipient. So if you're B2C, if you're mailing to consumers, much easier than if you're mailing to business people. Business people oftentimes, especially if they're important, they have the gatekeeper, the assistant, the secretary, whatever you want to call it, somebody whose job is, I mean, how many of you out there have gatekeepers? I have gatekeepers. Their job is to keep people away from me. My time is valuable. So I don't want to see people walking in without an appointment. I don't want phone calls without an appointment. I don't want mail hitting my desk that's junk mail or crap I don't want to see. That's why we pay them. So if they're good at their job, they're the gatekeeper. So how do you get stuff? How do you get phone calls through the gatekeeper? How do you get to meet with the right people? How do you get your direct mail? Well, you got to do some work. You don't just throw it in a number 10 envelope and make it look like a crappy piece of junk mail that screams I'm trying to sell you something, and otherwise I don't give a crap about you. Then you wonder why nobody calls. So here's an example, and I put this post-it note here over my, holy crap, and now I just peeled it off. So I'm covering up my home address, but I haven't opened it yet, but let's see what's on the inside. This is really well done. So it is a black envelope, which is a invitation type of size. So it looks like some real fancy, oh, do I need to send you an engraved invitation? It's sort of like a fancy engraved invitation with the white ink pen, likely a white Sharpie, or just the variable printing in that font with white to make it look like somebody wrote, yeah, that's what it is. And it's made to look like it's a white font, a white Sharpie. I can tell it's not handwritten because you can see the repetitive letters look identical, right? Although now I'm looking, and this E doesn't look like this one. And actually these two S's look a little different. So this is handwritten envelope. So there's one suggestion right away. How about a handwritten envelope? How about something that looks totally different than everything else anyone receives? A black invitation-sized envelope, smart enough to put the name of someone I already know, like, and trust. Heck, I gave him 50 grand of my money. I joined his 25K group for 2 years, the Genius Network, $25,000 up front to join. So pretty sure I trust and know and like the guy. In fact, I was at his, where is it? There it is. I was at the premiere of the Joe Polish movie Connected, documentary about Joe Polish, and another friend of mine, brilliant entrepreneur Nick Nanton, produced and directed. And that world premiere was over at the Harkins Theater in Scottsdale a couple weeks ago, and I picked up my bigger than life-size Joe Polish head on a stick, and I had him sign it. There you go. See, great, Steve. Great seeing you. I hadn't even read that yet. Thanks for coming out, Joe. Right? So clearly we have some kind of a relationship there. So when mail comes from Joe Polish, now he could get away with putting this in a blank number 10 envelope, and since it's Joe Polish, I'm still going to open up. But why do that? Why just do the ordinary, or why do just get by with the least you can do to get by? Why not still do a spectacular job, even if you know person is going to open that envelope? How about sending them something special? So here it is. I don't remember getting, in the past few years, getting an envelope like this with the white handwritten ink on a black envelope and the live stamps over there. It's not an indicia, a stamp of an envelope. So he's satisfied the first job, which is huge failure point to probably 90% of direct mail that gets mailed out. It doesn't get read. So number one, he's got me to open this thing, and I'm going to predict that what's on the inside is equally fantastically well done as the envelope. Otherwise, it'd be pretty incongruous, right? What if he just, had a really crappy letter in here, or some piece of crap, boring thing that sucked? Well, he doesn't. In fact, holy crap, I'm glad I opened it. It's got real money. Not that $1 is like going to change my life, but how cool is that? When's the last time someone sent you actually cash in the mail? So now, what this is was first used by legendary marketer Gary Halbert, and it's known as the dollar bill letter. And so, 2 reasons to enclose a dollar bill. Can anybody guess? Oh, look at all the people here. Ace is saying, so sorry about sharing prayers and sympathies with you, Michelle. Thank you. Raxo is here. Marbs is here, and Ace says, and that business will likely explode and take care of Kathy for the rest of the days. Yes, it likely will. And Timothy Moore is here. Great seeing you. So, a couple of things. Number one, of course, it got my attention as I open it up. There it is, right on the top, a dollar bill. It's peeking out. Is that a real dollar bill? Because I know it's Joe Polish. He's sending me a dollar bill letter. But people are going to think when you send this. And by the way, well, what's the cost of that, Steve? See, if I just send it in a blank number 10 envelope, I mean, this envelope costs an extra 62 cents. And then there's a little extra postage on it, another 30 cents. And then you're telling me an extra dollar. So now it's $2 extra to send this piece. Yeah, but your response rate goes from crickets, 0, circular file, waste bin, dust heap of life, junk mail, nobody reads your stuff and you think direct mail doesn't work BS, to massive results. You make money. So you can be short-term smart and long-term foolish, or you can invest in yourself and your business properly and send this dollar bill letter. So, man, I knocked this pretty cheap Post-it note off of here. It's clearly not an IBM, technically a Post-it note. It's a cheap knockoff. The thing keeps coming up, which, by the way, was another piece of direct mail. It was a gift from another marketer. Sent this as a gift for when I subscribe to something. It's got a whole bunch of these little sticky sign here things on the side, and it's got the fake Post-it note here. It's a pad of that. And then it's got the calendar from last year when I got it. It's got the name on the top of the marketer who sent it. So that's kind of cool. It sits on my desk. I use it. Anyway, so dollar bill letter. So it got my attention. And number 2, it also triggers what's known as reciprocity, right? The fact that you give something to someone, they feel compelled to give back. So Joe has bought my attention with $1. Now, think about it. If it takes me 20 minutes to read this, because I can already tell that it's got some heft to it. This letter is 2-page. By the way, it's also on very heavy paper. This has got to be 80, 100-pound stock or more. And then this is on glossy. Probably this is about 80 pound, and this is 4 pages. So you 8, therefore. So it's 4. So you got 4 pages here. It's an 11 by 16, folded in half, and then of course folded in half again to get the envelope. And so you got a 4-page and 2-page. I got 6 pages to read. Let's say at 2 minutes each, takes me 12 minutes. So that's $5 an hour. I'm getting paid the rate of $5 an hour to read this letter. So clearly, it's not engendering, triggering reciprocity like, oh, I owe him hundreds of dollars of my time because he gave me $1. That's not how the mind thinks. The mind thinks, well, he gave me $1. Now I'm not going to throw this in the garbage. That'd be rude. So your dollar goes a hell of a long way, right? As I said, you pay somebody money to write this thing if you're smart, unless you're an expert copywriter, because again, even if it gets opened, if the words on here don't persuade, you're also throwing your money away. What are you doing? And then you're going to tell me, oh, Steve, direct mail doesn't work. Sure, it doesn't work if you cheap out on everything and do it wrong. But here it's full color. So it's full color, double-sided printing, got the extra page, got the fancy envelope. $1 makes a very small difference in the cost of this mailing. Makes a big difference in the results. So I'll tell you, there it is. It's the classic Gary Halbert dollar bill letter opening. Dear Steve, as you can see, I've attached a dollar bill to the top of this letter for 2 reasons. And now I'll read it. As you can see, I've attached a dollar bill to the top of this letter. I've done this for 2 reasons. Okay, he broke it into 2 sentences. Or maybe I broke it into 1 sentence, and it's supposed to be 2 sentences. He likely had the Gary Halbert dollar bill letter right in front of him as he did this, and I, from memory, did it wrong and put it in 1 sentence. Okay, number 1, I have something important to tell you, and I wanted to make sure, in all caps, this letter would catch your attention. Right? You're Steve, so he's using variable printing, got my name on there. As you can see, I want to make sure the letter would catch your attention. Number 2, what I'm writing to you about is a way to connect with some of the high blah, 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 blah. So the number 1 is saying, I've attached a dollar bill for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to make sure they get your attention. Number 2, what I'm writing about is so important. It'll be the most important letter you've read all year. If this is your goal, then you've got to read this. That kind of stuff. And if you know your target who that you're sending this to, you know what their deep emotional desires are. So you can say right there at the top, I know your deepest emotional desire, and I have a way to solve that need. I have the solution to your problem. So what I'm writing to you about is a way to connect with some of the highest level, most successful entrepreneurs in the world. He knows very well that I am already connected with some of the highest level, most successful entrepreneurs. I love connecting with the highest levels, successful entrepreneurs in the world. And I'm always looking to meet some more of the highest level, most successful entrepreneurs in the world. How does he know that? I just told you I paid him $50,000 to join his Genius Network for 2 years, which is a network of some of the highest level, most successful entrepreneurs in the world. So unless suddenly I've massively changed in the last few years, and now, oh gee, I hate connecting with I know a few years ago I gave you 50 grand to connect with high level successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. Now I don't care about it at all and I hate it. I mean, if that's the case, then the letter falls on deaf ears, I throw it out. But it's likely that the core of my being, that I backed up with $50,000 of my own hard-earned cash, is still all about connecting with the highest level, most successful entrepreneurs in the world. In fact, following this letter, I've included a way you can turn a $10,000 investment into 10 times that. So I thought using money as an eye catcher was especially appropriate. So I know, so now I know what it's about, because it's $10,000 is what it costs to attend the Genius Network annual event. So it's a 2-day event, and I think this year it's held here in Scottsdale in October and November, and it's $10,000 to attend. And if you stay and you say, I don't want to just go home and I've paid the $10,000 for 2 days, I'll top it off with another 15, and I get a whole year of being in this network and connecting to people and coming back a couple of times and being connected online and on the phone, and what do you need and who can I connect you with? I have something someone else needs, someone has something I can help them with, bing, bang, boom, right? Here's what it's all about. The Genius Network annual event is taking place November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 2019 in Phoenix, Arizona. So there you go. Now I happen to live here now, but the 2 years that I was a member of the group, I was back during my 15 years or so living in Chicago. Now I'm right here. So blah, 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 blah. You'll discover blah, 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 a whole bunch of bullet points. Best Joe over, and then a whole bunch of testimonials. See, he could have said it's a 1-page letter, sent it out with nothing on the back. Joe's too smart a marketer for that. I tell you all the time, blank space never sold anything. So whenever you got the back of anything, business card, flyer, letter, and postcard, I don't care what you got. If you got blank space, fill it up with all kinds of stuff about what other people said about you, because as a wise mentor taught me years ago, what other people say about you is a zillion times, although he didn't use the word zillion, but it's a zillion times more powerful than what you say about yourself. So Joe has included just a few insights, and there's that same phrase again, shared by some of the highest level entrepreneurs in the world about the Genius Network annual event. Brendan Burchard, if anyone's heard of him, Dan Sullivan, JJ Virgin, Sally Hogshead, Victoria LeBaum, Dave Asprey, and Alex Mandoshan. So a bunch of these are strategically chosen because a bunch of these are not very well known outside of the circle of extremely sharp marketing-minded entrepreneurs. There's also a whole bunch of celebrity types that are in the group that Joe obviously chose not to use, and chose names that I know, and people I know, all these people, little friends of mine, that except for one haven't met yet. So there you go. And these are people that in our world, we all know who they are. And so we all respect them and we know them. And, I don't have to read this. See, that's another thing. People don't have to read a word of these. I mean, do you think that I would think Brendan Burchard and Dan Sullivan and the rest of these folks are all saying bad things about Joe and about the event? No, I'm pretty sure they're all going to say glowing, fantastic things. So there you go. Just because he put them on here, I might see the names and go, yeah, I know them and I trust them. And so I'm sure they're going to see great things when we move on. I don't have to read them. In fact, I'll just tell you what they say. Brendan Burchard said, man, if you like connecting with high-level entrepreneurs, this is the place to be. I never miss it. I always make sure I'm there, and I hope to see you there. All right, now let's see what he actually said. No, he didn't say that. He said, this is an event that you need to get to. I don't think you'll ever be in a networking event this year with this caliber of people who have this intention to help each other, who are operating at this level of business success and social reach, so get there. All right, so that's pretty similar. But anyway, that's what those all are. And then he's got the 4-page sales letter, describing what the event's about, and again, kind of filled. It's kind of people wonder. They ask me all the time. They go, if you are too cheap or too stupid or both to not pay someone to write this stuff, you're going to say, Steve, how do I fill up a 4-page single-spaced sales line? I don't even know what to say. Well, I'll tell you what. How about Dr. Andrew Weil, who said all this for you? And how about oh, my phone's been ringing all day. Joe DeSena saying all this. How about Paris Lampropoulos? Talk about it. One of the highest paid, most successful copywriters in the world. Paris Lampropoulos. Another one, John Calton, one of the most successful living copywriters. That means they write words for a living. And Brian Kurtz, a good friend of mine, Fred Clemens, Keith Cunningham, Clayton Makepeace is another. I mean, he's got 3 in a row of the world's top leading, highest paid, most successful copywriters in the world, saying how great this thing is. And so actually all he had to write, or his copywriter, which is likely one of these guys, wrote, 3-4 paragraphs. Anyway, and by the way, just an aside for event marketing, you then take those 3-4 paragraphs and you repurpose them into everything. You make a video where you say all that. You put up websites with that. You put up articles with that. Each one of these paragraphs is a blog post. It's an article, and it's a press release, and all this stuff is going out all over the place. Anyway, so he's got H plus W equals ELF right at the top, because Joe's known for that saying. He wants your business to be ELF. Easy, lucrative, and fun. So H plus W equals ELF. So now that headline is doing the 2 jobs of a headline. Anyone know the 2 jobs of a headline? And Phil says the buck stopped there. Actually, the buck keeps going, right? Because the whole idea is he gives me $1 and I give him 10 grand. So the buck stopped here. The 10,000 bucks going to stop there. It's pretty good ROI, is it not? And so headline has 2 jobs. Number one's got to get your attention. Cut through the clutter of the world. I got a million channels to watch. My phone is blowing up today. I got emails and social media and you name it coming out the wazoo here. I got lots of things I could be doing, so this better get my attention. And number 2, it's going to draw me in and make me want to read the rest of this thing, or really just the next line. And then the next line's going to want to get me to read the next line. And after a couple, gets onto what's known as a slippery slope, where I can't stop myself, as if there's butter covering a slick slide that's going straight down into the water, and I just can't stop reading the whole thing. But you draw me in one line at a time. So what is H plus W equals ELF? What is that? I got to know. You got my curiosity and you got me to read the next line, because maybe the answer's on the next line where it says, is this the influence formula for reaching 300 plus million people and making over $1 billion? See, more intrigue, more getting my attention and interest. Now I got to read the next line. Is it? Is it not? I don't know. I don't know the answer yet. A sneak peek at the 2019 Genius Network annual event taking place November 2nd to 4th, 2019, and why you're going to want to reserve your spot now if you haven't already. So we got embedded commands. We got all kinds of great stuff going on. And then blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, he's going to tell you, of course, I'm talking about your health and your wealth. Your health and your wealth makes your life easy, lucrative, and fun, right? So the event is all about health and wealth. And so what do you know? The first testimonial is from a medical doctor. Well, health. Then the next one, once your health is optimized, then we're talking about wealth, right? And so now he's telling me what the event is about. And I'll give you a hint. Once people are making gobs and gobs of money, health becomes pretty much the only important thing in life, right? I mean, what's the point of making all this money and having a beautiful place and being able to travel and doing whatever if I don't have my health and I'm not going to be around to enjoy it? So top level, top achievers, health is a humongous big thing for us. And so, JJ was on here. JJ is one of the world's top health experts, multiple times, I believe, New York Times best-selling author, with all of her celebrity nutrition and fitness expert, she's calling herself now. I like that. Good work, JJ. And she's fantastic and brilliant, and she's got great stuff, and she's been all over, I don't know, technically she's been on Oprah. She's basically been all over TV. and written all kinds of great books and speaks all over and all kinds of great stuff. And so she's clearly going to talk about health, and other people are talking about wealth and blah, 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 blah. So that's the draw. And for only 10 grand, I mean, if I can't make that back times 10 with one connection, there's something really wrong with me. I'm the wrong person, and I shouldn't be receiving this. So we will check that out. And there you go. So he got me to open it with the great work of the envelope. Then he got me to read it with the dollar bill letter. He got me to read the actual sales letter about the event. And then once I go through that, perhaps I sit there and say, gee, yeah, it'd be a no-brainer. I'd be an idiot to not go to this thing. How am I going to not go to this thing and call myself a high-achieving entrepreneur and not be in that room? Because I'm sure you've heard me say it before, but my goal, your goal ought to be, always be the dumbest person in the room. So does that mean I want you to never read another book and don't keep up on everything and have a lobotomy? No. I want you to work as hard as you can. Keep watching my videos, keep reading all my stuff, keep reading all Joe's stuff, and listen to his podcast. Keep getting all the information you can. Get smart, hang out. Most of all, hang out around the right people so you get smarter and smarter and smarter. And yet, how great is it if you get smarter and smarter and unbelievably smart, and you could walk into a room where you are the dumbest person in the room? Because that's one way to put it. The other way would be everyone in the room is incredibly smarter than you. And I don't mean smart like in SAT score, some book smart, or some third grade, spelling, did you memorize the something or other? Hey, thanks for all the likes. I'm talking about smart. I'm talking about having sense, knowing what to do, knowing how to turn nothing into something, knowing how to turn around something that's struggling into something that's massively successful. That's what I mean by intelligence. So you always want to be in the right group around the right people. And those of us that know that, we're certainly the right person to send this kind of marketing to. Everyone knows I get bombarded all the time. Please come to this mastermind, come to this event, come to this meeting, come to this. People know. Yeah. How do you think I've gotten where I am in life? It hasn't been sitting in the corner, be alone and say, oh, I can't afford to go. Yeah, no kidding. The first one I went to, I'm sure that's what I was thinking. And then I'm sure I was smart enough to say, holy crap, then I can't afford not to go. And I'll do whatever it takes to get there. And then when I got there, I met some people. And then that led to, well, now I can go to another and another and another. And now I can go to this if I want. The only question is, do I want? And so Joe could have sent some email, could have sent a text message, could have sent an email. Hey, do you want to come to my event? But man, he took some time and trouble and effort and a buck and invested in me and showed me that he cares. And let's see if I respond. But it's not about just me. If he sends out 100 of these, do you think he gets one person to say, I'll go to the event? If he sends to 100 of the right people who love these kind of events, I mean, it's going to get opened and read by a whoppingly huge percentage of us. As opposed to think about your direct mail, where you're telling me direct mail doesn't work, Steve. Like, what percentage of people do you think opened and read every word of your thing and enjoyed it while they were reading it? Like, likely unfortunately, very low percent for most business people. I'm not calling anyone out by name, just saying from what I've seen, helping thousands of business owners over about a 40-year period. Unfortunately, the norm is no one reads your crap, and everyone thinks it's crap. But great stuff like this, you're going to get a tremendous response rate. Because if you send it to the right target and you've got the irresistible offer, it's irresistible. See, the irresistible offer, I say this all the time, it's not all about price. In this case, what's irresistible is there's no other room where you can be in the room in that one place with all these successful people going to be there. What would it take to go meet Brendan Mouchard and JJ Virgin and all Brian Kurtz and all the rest of these people in a 2-day period? What would it take? I mean, how many flights, I don't even know how you'd even get to meet all these people, because we're not sitting there going like, oh, sure, I'll just go. I get asked all the time, oh yeah, sure, I'll just go have a cup of coffee with you. Like, that's not happening. But I'm going to be in this room. And if you want to meet me, well, I don't know if I'm going to, but if I'm going to these events, I'm going to be in those rooms. I'm hosting one of my own events like that, actually coming up in a month. So I'm going to be there. And some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world are going to be at my events, because that's what my events are. I invite some of my very high-level VIP top entrepreneur friends to come and hang out and mix and mingle and make money with my clients. And so I love this kind of stuff. So you send it to the right people, you make it irresistible, you feel like an idiot not to attend, and then you send it in the right way, not an email, or you can send an email too and say, hey, did you get my letter? You can leave a voicemail and say, did you get my letter? But by all means, make people feel special by sending them something real and get some real results for yourself. That'll do it for Direct Mail Monday. Thanks everyone being here. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the not likes if you did any of those. Thanks for all the reactions. Either way, it's all good. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for subscribing. By the way, have a request to anybody watching. Maybe I should have done this earlier because everyone checked out by now. But I looked on YouTube and I was like, how come, first of all, when YouTube was purchased years ago, they switched my channel to, I couldn't get into it. I got a different channel. So I was like, why don't I have my own, why do I have all this gobbledygook URL? Why doesn't it just say Facebook/Steve Sipress? Well, then I looked it up and it's like, oh, you got to have 100 subscribers and I have like 87 or something. I'm like, you're kidding me. So if you can go over to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube, unfortunately, I don't even know if you can just put in my name because maybe you get to the wrong one. But I could pop that thing over 100, then I can get a normal URL and just tell people go to Facebook/Steve Sipress for crying out loud. I mean, YouTube.com/Steve Sipress. Anyway, I can't for now. And that'll do it. So have a fantastic rest of your Monday. I'll be back tomorrow on Topical Tuesday, where I will be talking something about something topical, timely, in the news, something that's going on. Share my thoughts. As always, I'm sure I'll have some business thoughts tied to it, and I hope to see you there. Thanks for being here today, and I'm going to go back and be with my beautiful wife, Michelle. Thanks, everyone. Catch you tomorrow. Over and out. Bye-bye. Got to click this twice.